Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm giving Stockfish one extra elephant each game until I lose. The elephant moves like a knight and a rook. Let's get started with game number one. Alright, game number one, as you can see, we've given Stockfish one elephant. We're playing against fairy Stockfish, which is basically Stockfish that is capable of playing with these fairy pieces. Again, the elephant can move up and down files and across ranks just like a rook, and it can also move in an L shape like a knight. For the sake of playing with these fairy pieces, I have had to make the compromise of working on a 10x8 board, but the final result should be roughly the same. We get the king developing. I made the commentary last time that this is sort of like giving John Wick a needle. I still stand by that statement because I'd imagine an elephant is even stronger than a dragon, considering it can move like a rook, which is more valuable than a bishop. We'll go ahead and just develop normally. There shouldn't be any real headache in terms of converting this victory. We just need to get this elephant off the board, and then we can pull away with the win. In fact, I'm just going to push each of these outside pass pawns. I forgot that this was my strategy last time when we were playing against the dragon, because what happens is the singular piece can't stop both of these pawns that are supported by the rooks. All right, Stockfish is sending one of each of its pieces to go stop one of each of the pawns, which I guess is a reasonable approach, but it's now allowed us to promote, so we'll go ahead and promote to a queen. We do drop the elephant, and now we can swing in for that ladder's mate. We'll cut off the king on the rank, promote to a elephant, of course, for style points. We'll go ahead and give check and mate. With that, we win game number one. Let's go ahead and give Stockfish two elephants. All right, two elephants now on the board. I won't spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen the first video where I was the one playing with elephants, but we did look at the eval bar after, and we did find out that very concretely there is a point where when you add one extra elephant, the engine evaluates it as completely winning for the side with the elephants. If you haven't seen that first video, comment down below what you think that turning point is. We get the king over. For the meantime, we should still be completely winning. This shouldn't be particularly difficult to win, even against Stockfish. We can just push one of these pawns until eventually it has to give up one of these elephants, and we are winning. So we'll go ahead and promote. I don't really care that I'm losing a rook. I just have so many extra pieces to work with that it really does not matter. Okay, finally the elephant comes in and creates an actual threat. We'll move the knight out of the way, the queen defends the bishop, and the elephant gets lost. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. We'll go ahead and push this pawn to promotion. The elephant comes, ready to sacrifice, and ready to block as well. But like I said, we have so many extra pieces to work with that it barely even matters how we approach this. We can literally give up free pieces as long as we try to force that promotion. And Stockfish knows good and well that it is losing, so it's going to just play whatever it thinks it needs to play to ward off checkmate for as long as possible. Let me go ahead and win this with style. All right, with that, we do defeat Fairy Stockfish with two elephants. Let's go ahead and give it three elephants. All right, Fairy Stockfish now with three elephants on the board. We can't be quite as reckless anymore, but we're still very confidently winning. We do get this little battery threatening the pawn on G2. We'll go ahead and cover that up with the knight, followed up by another battery now staring at D2. I guess we'll cover it up again with another knight. And maybe we'll do the strategy of sort of hunkering down first before pushing these pawns, although is there concretely any actual threat that I should be afraid of? Actually, I don't see one, so I don't think all those extra steps are necessary. I'm just going to push my pawns. We get the knight out, or rather the elephant out, onto the H file. Again, no concrete threats that I can see, so we'll keep pushing. Okay, now the elephant is staring at the rook. That's an actual threat. We'll go ahead and face the elephant with the rook. And the elephant repositions itself to again threaten the rook, but the elephant is worth much more than the rook is, so I'm totally fine with that trade. So let's continue pushing. Okay, the rook takes, we'll go ahead and sack the elephant takes, and we will go ahead and sacrifice the rook. All right, two elephants now on the board. This should be just completely winning again. Go ahead and push this pawn, supported by the rook. And it's funny because you do get chess principles that come into play. For example, a pass pawn supported by a rook is honestly a fairly common sight in a normal chess game. And considering we have no quote-unquote common sites to speak of in terms of playing against elephants, those are the resources that we do fall back on. All right, let me make sure that I'm not getting back rank mated by an elephant, which I'm not. The elephant comes out to play. We'll go ahead and launch this last one supported by the queen. I could care less about losing the queen as long as I get this last elephant off of the board. All right, nice. If I won the last one in style, I figure I should do the same thing again. Now that is a fashionable checkmate. All right, we've defeated Stockfish now with three elephants. Let's go ahead and move on to 4 elephants. All right, 4 elephants on the board now for fairy stockfish. We'll go ahead and, I believe, start with the same idea, or should we start playing a little more defensively? Because I know for a fact there are sacrificing ideas here and there. I just have to make sure I don't fall for any of them, and then we should be totally winning. The elephant comes out to the side. I think literally just placing these 2 knights is sort of like an invisible force field. For some reason, it just covers all the squares that I guess fairy stockfish wishes it could play to, because it seems to stop the attack dead in its tracks. We'll go ahead and start moving these pawns outward. We do get the elephant out, potentially with sacrificing ideas, but I don't actually see the follow-up there. So we'll go ahead and just push again. The other elephant retreats as well. We'll push. And again, until I actually see what the sacrificing idea is, I don't think there's anything to be afraid of, so we'll just push. Elephant comes out. We'll go ahead and give the old boot. Oh, it does sacrifice? Wait, is that losing somehow? I don't believe it is. I'll go ahead and take. Wow, that wasn't even losing. It literally just gave up the elephant. I guess now it's looking for this checkmating idea, but I believe by playing e3, the checkmating idea just about evaporates. And it does. Okay, doubles up the elephants. It might think it has an advantage now. If we do get this sacrifice, I can just take. The elephant takes back. I move out of the way. It takes with check. So I guess I would have to move up. But again, I don't see the actual winning idea, so I'm going to keep pushing my pawns. Elephant takes. I'll go ahead and take back. I'll go ahead and target the elephant. Oh, it doubles down with another one of its army mates. Now threatening check, move down, and then mate down here. So I might actually just have to start escaping. I don't know if this is winning for me anymore. Let's move out of the way. Wow, that is a disgusting checkmate. So it delivers check like a knight, and it pins the pawn like a rook. The other elephant covers the rank like a rook, and covers the escape square like a knight. Wow. All right, that is a pretty fanciful mate. I think we were a little bit too excited about pushing these pawns on the sides of the board and didn't spend enough time actually building up the defense. But to be honest, I didn't see the mate, which I guess is a little bit presumptuous to say that I was going to be able to see whatever mate Stockfish would see. But I figured I only had 4 pieces to keep track of, but looks like I couldn't even keep track of 2. All right. Just for the sake of it, let's try 4 elephants one more time. All right, 4 elephants back on the board for Stockfish. I think we just have to change our strategy a little bit, and that is to play defense first before actually looking for attacking ideas with the pawns. The elephant shuffles over. We'll go ahead and build up our fortress first, and then look for a concrete attack. Get the elephant going down. We could just give him the boot by pushing the pawn forward, but then the elephant comes in, targets the rook. It's not a particularly comfortable position to play, so as long as it doesn't have a concrete threat, I don't think it should be an issue. The other option actually is to develop my own rook, which is kind of interesting. But here's what we'll go with. We'll develop the, if I develop the bishop, then I drop this pawn. Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll target the elephant. If it does slide in, I move the bishop out of the way, and I force trading off this elephant. Oh, it doesn't even take on c2. Okay, it decides to develop a different elephant instead. We'll go ahead and target this elephant with our queen, force it to make a decision. It does develop to target the queen. Do I want to trade my elephant, or rather my queen for an elephant? And I think the answer is yes. I'm okay with that trade. Because if the queen is worth 9, the elephant has to be worth at least 8, considering it moves like a rook worth 5, and like a knight worth another 3. Let's go ahead now and start pushing this pawn. If I can get one of these trades on the board, that would be absolutely amazing. Okay, it's looking to infiltrate on the back rank. We'll reposition one of these bishops to actually defend that idea. Whoa, elephant gives check. Position is becoming permeable extremely quickly, which is not ideal. We'll go ahead and continue pushing this pawn. Elephant goes back, we push again. We push, and we do get that promotion. Absolutely beautiful. We'll promote to a queen just because I know it's a piece I know how to work with. All right, we do get that trade. We have 2 elephants against this portion of my army, basically what is left over after the kerfuffle. Let's see what we can actually do with this. I guess we start pushing another pawn right away. We'll go ahead and play defense with these pieces. We should be safe, I think, because everybody sort of defends everybody else. It's all very well anchored as far as I can tell. So let's keep pushing. Elephant shuffles over and simply blocks. If we push this pawn, we look at this elephant and threaten it, so it has to move back. King shuffles over. Okay, Stockfish is officially buying time now. If I develop this knight, I hang the bishop, but I threaten the other elephant, so I don't know if it works out in my favor. Or, actually, I can just push a different pawn. I just realized I have more pawns to work with, so I might as well. King goes back, I'll just push it as far as I can get away with. The other elephant retreats, so now we have some pressure off of our position. So let's try for knight to f5. Replacing this elephant, we do get that trade. A rook and a pawn for an elephant is certainly profitable. Now we just have to make sure that we don't get mated by accident. If we move back, there's check. I move here, check. I don't know, I can see it getting almost drawish very quickly. Let's go ahead and just push in the center. I can't imagine that Stockfish is going to be able to hold down our entire position with one elephant. Okay, if I move over this way, I'd drop the bishop. So we have to move over this way. Get put in check again. We have to move back. You've got to be kidding me. It's found a drawing idea. Okay, so what happens if I just move back and forth? We get a draw. All right, that is in fact a draw, which is better than a loss. So let's try that one last time and see if we can get the victory over on Stockfish. All right, trying one more time to get these 4 elephants over on Stockfish. We'll start with the same defensive idea. Whoa, the king develops this time, which I quite like to see. And maybe I should even play a little more aggressively because we haven't really taken advantage of the fact that the king is developed in the center. We can start by pushing this pawn. We'll push this pawn as well. Elephants come out to play. And the problem is if you put Stockfish in a desperate position, it will find the most desperate solution, which is usually not something that you want to see on the board. Okay, we have 2 elephants tied down to pawns, which has to be a good thing. I can threaten this elephant with my queen, which I think is a great trade because it moves this elephant off of the back rank. So I'm going to centralize this knight. The elephant does just move out of the way. We'll develop the queen as well, who I'm more than happy to trade for another elephant. Okay, we get these stacked elephants looking at h2. Let's go ahead and trade off the queen for one of the elephants. And now we just have to deal with this pawn, which I think we can just advance. Okay, the elephant shuffles back over to stop this pawn from advancing, which we will push anyways. This elephant advances. Let's give a funny little check. King shuffles over, and I think now we can just boot the elephant. Nice, it shuffles out of the way, targets the rook, but that's defended by the bishop, so really no concerns there. Let's push this pawn, looking to develop the bishop as well. And again, since these pieces only move like rooks and knights, there are ideas of booting them along the diagonals. Okay, this elephant moves forward. I don't think it's actually threatening anything new, because this is just defended by the knight. Oh, it's threatening the knight itself, I see. Okay, we could defend like this. It's a little bit sketchy. We could also just move the bishop back, but then we lose the attacking ideas. So we'll go with this one. We'll move the bishop forward. Okay, it does trade off an elephant for a rook, which should be great for us. Ah, and it does it to take this pawn. Okay, interesting. Now threatens the bishop as well, so we'll return that piece to home base. And everything is sort of held together. There are some sneaky check ideas which we need to be careful of, but I think we might be okay here. Let's move the king up. Oh, and oh goodness, we've dropped the bishop. I didn't even notice the bishop was hanging. Okay, should still be okay, surprisingly enough. We are dropping this knight now, which does defend this bishop, and everything that was holding everything else together slowly starts to fall apart. We'll have to move this knight back. Elephant shuffles over to target the rook. Let's move the rook up with the idea of pushing this pawn. Get elephant down, targeting the pawn, targeting the rook. We're just going to push our pawn, and I think we should be okay. Oh, we get put in check. We move the king. Oh, if we move the king up, there's this check. Oh, it doesn't even play that. It plays for this. Pushing me out into my own position, which you'd imagine I'd be comfortable with, but it looks absolutely terrible. Okay, elephant shuffles over. This is almost certainly a compromised position of some sort. We'll start giving some checks. King shuffles over. And my question is, why can't I just push this pawn? Almost certainly there's a good reason why I can't. I'd imagine, oh, is this mate? Oh, it's because it's mate in one, right? Check, it defends like a rook. Covers like a knight, gives check like a knight. Okay, so there's mate in one on the board. That's what I have to be aware of. Okay, this is absolutely insane, but I think I have to advance my king if I want any chance of survival. Oh, I get mated anyways? Holy smokes. Okay, 2 knights defending each other as, 2 elephants defending each other as rooks, cutting off the rank as a rook, covering the escape square as a knight, covering the escape square as a knight, delivering mate as a knight as well. Okay, all right. With that, I will concede. We officially lost to Stockfish with 4 elephants. Now, for those of you that were curious what the cutoff point was, if you run this through analysis, I have a 6-point advantage in the starting position where Stockfish has 4 elephants. But I guess it makes sense that a 6-point advantage isn't enough for me to defeat the strongest engine in the world. But at 5 elephants, I would have absolutely 0 chance because it's concretely better, at least by Stockfish's analysis, for the 5 elephants. I believe it's like an 8-point advantage for the side with the 5 elephants. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Let me know down below what other fairy pieces I should give Stockfish, and I will see you guys in the next one.